pandemic. Our reporter Ibrahim Karanja is on standby with Nyeri Governor Mutahi Kahiga, who is also the chair of the Education Committee at the Council of Governors, to shed more light on this. Ibrahim Karanja, good morning. Over to you.
Well, good morning, Brenda. Indeed, that directive by the Ministry of Education that this academic calendar is considered lost and that schools will actually resume next year. These are primary and secondary schools. It's something that was met by mixed reactions. And this also must go in tandem with what is happening at county governments. Remember, there is also a level of education that is devolved. We're talking about polytechnics and we're talking about early education. This is ECDEs that are under county governments. And when the government states that this particular year is considered lost and goes ahead to say that teachers working in public primary and secondary schools will continue drawing their salaries, it actually leaves a question as to how devolved units will actually work. And that is why I have with me Nyeri County Governor, the Honorable Mutahi Kahiga, and he's also the chairperson, like you said, of the Education Committee at the Council of Governors, to try and understand whether this is something that the COG had actually foreseen and spoken about, and perhaps what we expect will be the way forward, starting from Nyeri and also from all the 47 devolved units in the country. Thank you so much, Governor, and thank you for your availability in short notice. Let's start with Nyeri County in particular before we even go to the COG. Now, all education or the academic calendar will actually resume next year. We have the level of education under Nyeri County. Perhaps how do we expect the devolved unit here to handle the staff working in these particular institutions?
Thank you very much, Ibrahim. Yes, indeed, we have about 800 ECD teachers who are currently on our payroll. We also have about 89 teachers, lecturers, or you can say instructors, who are working in our polytechnics, and these are staff that we will continue to hold and keep and pay in as we roll over. Despite the fact that they will not be teaching, we have contractual engagements with them, and these are obligations that we must meet. And this one also goes for all other counties, because this is not the time to lay off workers. This would be the best time now to hold them together. If we have any training needs where COVID protocols allow, we should do it now. But as a county and also as the Council of Governors, we commit to sustain our employees just as we are treating the others. So there'll be nothing special about teachers that we are going to lay them off. But now that you have brought it up, I think it is important that we also think about a certain group of teachers that nobody is talking about. There are those that are in primary schools and in secondary schools that are BOM, that have been hired by the BOMs. There are others who are in private schools. Now that private schools have closed down, now that BOMs are not collecting fees, how are they going to pay these teachers? That is a big challenge. I know already I have about, today I'll be giving food packages to 231 teachers from private schools in Nyeri County. And I would want to urge other counties to also think about this unfortunate group who have been rendered now jobless. They have no means of income. And I would also want to urge the Council of Governors that going forward, we must also remember that private schools they were actually not operational this year. And this would also call for us to review whether we can carry forward the licenses we had charged them, so that next year we don't charge them, and they can use some of that little money, because sometimes they pay hundreds of thousands. They can spend that money, maybe by even providing for those other teachers. But that is true. It is a major challenge. Yes.
Governor, it is actually important that you have mentioned of say, the monies that are being paid by private schools to counties, because most of the times when we talk about the two levels of education and we talk about primary and secondary schools being actually in the national government, we do not look at the contributions they do to the county government. Perhaps you may want to shed some light. I remember on Tuesday speaking to a proprietor of a private institution, even talking about insurances for the school. What more things can the county do aside from, say, pushing forward? Is it actually doable to, say, waive some of the charges that private schools have been paying to counties?
Let us agree this, Ibrahim, that we have to act differently. We have to sit down. Part of our economic recovery strategies will be those, that we have to waive off some licenses, where those counties that may have set aside some funds, like, for example, as we are negotiating right now with Cooperative Bank, so that we see whether they are able to provide us some cheap loans. We put in some little money so that as we move forward, there are sectors, one of them being the private schools, that we may need to boost or give soft loans, maybe extended over a longer time, just to help them recover. So these are some of the economic recovery strategies that we are setting in place, thinking ahead. I will say this. Sometime around just March, just before the onset of COVID-19, we had already approved 100 million shillings to be bursary. And we had already done checks. We were going to release them to schools. Then suddenly COVID came. So those checks are with us. They are now still. So the money is available. We have the 100 million, which we are now going to reallocate with such kind of things in mind. And I would also want to urge other counties, because I know there was that component of bursaries for school fees. And considering now that school fees have been waived by the national government, especially for secondary, and it may be, I think key is the secondary school. We may need to reallocate that money, the 100 million or whatever said money they had. Nyeri had 100 million for bursary. Others had also their own set. I think this is money we can now look forward as we go to doing the new budget and the supplementary budget coming. We may need to reallocate this money with a view of helping these entities survive post-COVID.
Yes. Well, Governor, right before COVID, I remember there was an ambitious plan by devolved units to actually strengthen the levels of education, talk about ECDEs, talk about polytechnics. Yes. And in this, in the quest to actually improve the education levels, we saw mass hirings of ECDE teachers, mass hirings of trainers at polytechnics. And this is something, of course, no one knew that the pandemic would come. Yes. And now we are seeing with the pandemic, there's also slashed budgets that have come to the county governments. Yet you say that the county governments will be able to sustain the teachers. Perhaps how do counties intend to go about this with a slashed budget and an increased workforce?
And the unfortunate thing is that it has to eat into development. That's the only way we can do it, because if you already have contractual engagements, there is no way you can ignore the contract. Maybe where they may find there is a major problem, they can ask the teachers to take a pay cut. There are many ways but they must engage with the teachers themselves, because you can't wake up one morning. When we talk about a teacher, we are talking about a family. We are talking about a spouse. We are talking about children. We are talking about we are in an African setting where you're going to find, Ibrahim, that there is a family, there is a clan around that individual. You don't wake up one morning and just send 20 to 30 people into oblivion where they are not even assured of the next meal. I think this is a time for all of us to walk this journey together. It is going to call for tightening of belts, and the Council of Governors is committed. And I would say that as the chairman of education is committed to improving education, and that is why we took the unprecedented step of hiring many ECD teachers, hiring instructors for our polytechnics, because we intended to achieve the expected outcomes. But now that this COVID has come, we will work with it, we will struggle together. But I can say from a very informed position that the counties are going to sustain their workforce. They will not send them home. we will keep looking at how to go about it. Yes, we admit that we have not received from National Treasury our June allocation. Like Nyeri has lost, so far we are expecting about 600 million that has been slashed, that hasn't come. What that would mean is that it's going now to throw us into what we have not been in before, that is pending bills. But we want to pray that national government should be able to release that money by by early next week, so that we are able to clear with contractors and all those people that have offered services to the counties. That would also include some counties not having been able to pay May and June salaries because of realignments and readjustments of their budgets. So this is going to be a big hole, and all of us must walk this journey together.
And before I get to my last question, which will actually be on your own, because you previously served as a teacher, let's get to the developments or the money that was allocated to development projects in education. Yes. We know counties had allocated money for construction of ECDs. Counties had also allocated money for construction of polytechnics this particular year. Some of these particular projects were complete and now have no one to use them for the next 1 year. What impact is this having on the money that was pumped into this particular development project?
Yes, that is money that now, like you say, yes, remember the way the government, the financial year is, contracts were entered into, contractors got to the ground, they took off, and the projects are complete. They have been inspected. They are now ready. Their payments and their payment vouchers are at IB. We call it internet backing level. So they are awaiting release of fund. And here is where we are now being told that 600 million is not coming to Nyeri. Another county has not received $1 billion. This we all understand. And this is where we are going to ask ourselves, what do we do next? Number one, the work has been done. The contracts have been undertaken according to the contract specifications. So it is a burden upon the government, and it calls for us to look for innovative ways to pay those people. All we will tell the contractors is we will do our best. Council of Governors has struggled to ensure. Remember, when we began this year, we had quite a lot of money that was pending in terms of pending bills, which have been brought down. But currently, as you are speaking, National Treasury owes counties in excess of 31 billion Kenya shillings. That was an allocation for June. Once that amount of money is released, we don't know when, then we will use the same to clear those contracts that have been, those payments that have already been undertaken. Yes.
Well, Governor, now my last question. You have previously served as a teacher. You actually were a union leader for teachers, and you are best placed to understand some of the concerns that teachers in private schools will be going through. Perhaps, and you have mentioned that even today you'll be doing donations to teachers. But given that they say we are in extraordinary times and we need extraordinary measures, what else can counties look at in terms of, yes, we know it is not, it might not be founded for lawfully. It's something that I don't know whether there is a provision that can take it to the county assembly to actually consider these particular teachers who are at home, private school teachers, teachers from BOM, in terms of support from county government, or actually from Ministry of Devolution in consultation with COG.
Let's first agree that the part played by private schools is key and very, very important, because that's a burden on government, both national government and county governments. Why do I say that? Some private schools run ECD. Those kids would be with us, and it would have been the burden of our counties and the COG to hire teachers for them. But instead, a private entrepreneur has taken over that challenge. In primary schools, in secondary schools, this is a commitment of national government. Every government must provide education, security, and health as key components to their citizenry. Here comes in the private investor who spends their money, builds their schools, and takes over a responsibility of government. Therefore, COVID must teach us lessons that going forward, this is a sector we must support. And I think the same way we've been talking about GMRs for farmers, we must be able to subsidize and even look at, because this idea of saying we are offering free primary and free day secondary education, yet primary schools are not, that private primary schools kids are not receiving the subsidy from government. I think it is now time to look at it in a different perspective and say, all children are public children, regardless of whether they are in private schools or public schools. When we allocate money for for primary schools, for day secondary schools, we must also now, post-COVID, we must also think of a way for providing for those that are in private schools, because that component now would have assisted.
Thank you, Governor. Well, that is Governor Mutahi Kahiga, the chair of the Education Committee on the Council of Governors, also Governor Nyeri County, speaking about what we expect the education sector will be looking at in the next 1 year. Remember, Education CS Professor George Magoha said that this academic year is considered lost, but that left teachers in public institutions still drawing salaries and left in disarray those in private institutions, and now Governor speaking about ECDEs and polytechnics. Brenda, this is a conversation that, of course, is expected to continue in different quarters and see how this particular unit will actually sail through the next couple coming months, Brenda.
All right, thank you so much, Ibrahim Karanja, for that. And talking about its developing story, a conversation that will continue. I'd like us to continue having this discussion.